One basic essential aspect of pig farming management is understanding how to feed your pigs. Now, right on this video, these are piglets that are over 1 month old post weaning. So these are not the newly weaned pig. So the feed formula you are to use for a very young piglet, that's those that are just coming from, are just being weaned from their mother's breast milk, is different from that of this stage. Now, as I often say, if you have enough cash to run your farm, of course you don't need to do too many of the tweaking of feeds to achieve your result. Most of the time, if you have the money, corn and soya beans will essentially work for you in almost every phase of your of their growing stages. But because of the high cost of soya beans and the high cost of maize, most of the time we often have to lean on other solutions to still achieve our results. Now, these guys I showed you when we got them to the farm, we got them as winners, and at this point they are, at least none of them here is under 1 month post weaning. So our feed formula is what I'll be showing you in this video. What we'll be giving to these guys, to these girls, for the next about 2 months is what I want to show you in this video. So stay tuned. Essentially, at this stage, the PKC can be introduced to your piglet. And I need to let you know that what you have right here on this video is 2 bags of PKC. A bag of PKC weighs 50 kg. This means I've used 100 kg PKC. Now, at this stage of their growth, this piglet needs about 18 to 22% crude protein. They also need about 2,800 to 3,100 energy and about 3 to 4% fiber. Now, PKC has about 16.63% crude protein, and as I told you already, the piglets require about 18 to 22% crude protein. Now you can see that PKC cannot suffice for the protein level needed for the growth and efficient growth of the piglet, and that's why we're going to be introducing another ingredient to this. For the energy, PKC has about 4,998 energy content, and the piglets require 2,800 to 3,100. So this is really good when it comes to the energy source and also the fiber source. But for the protein, we need to step this up a little bit. In order for you to have proper understanding, I'll be showing to you the nutritional content of what we'll be adding to this PKC. This is the broiler starter feed. Now look right here, you can see this feed contains 22% crude protein. I told you that the piglets require 18 to 22% crude protein. So you see that this is essentially excellent when it comes to the protein level for your piglet. Also, you can see it has 2,900 energy. Now you see this is not bad also for the energy level for your piglets, because they require 2,800 to 3,100 energy. So this could suffice. And let me now submit to you that one other importance of adding this feed to your formula is, if you can see all these other things written there, the methionine, the phosphorus, the calcium, and every other thing you can see written there. Normally, if you're going to formulate this without using this bag, you would need to source for. You can see I'm not going to be, or probably you've not seen that, but I'm not going to be adding limestone to this, and that's because of this, because of the calcium content that is already present in this. Also, I'm not going to be adding the premixes, because this also contains the essential premix that will be great for your piglet. That's the great advantage of using this feed, is that it brings into the formula several other things even apart from the crude protein level which we were searching for. All right, I'll be adding this to this now. This is 100 kg. Now this is 25 kg. So let me do the addition, then I will tell you the last ingredient we'll be adding to this formula. Now this is the result after pouring it right here. Now for those of you that will be curious to ask what's the broiler starter we're using here, well, we're using the 0 to 2 weeks broiler starter feed. Obviously you can agree with me that that's really high in nutrients. Well, that's the reason why we actually chose it, because we know it's actually extremely high when it comes to the protein level and the nutritional level. So that's what we'll be using for our feed mixture. Before bringing the last ingredient into this feed mixture, let me quickly address something. If you can see the level of nutrients that this starter feed has, you can see that this is very great when it comes to if you are going to be using directly for your pigs. So if you decide that you don't want to even do any addition, I mean using the PKC and any other thing, it's really great, really great. So I want to answer a quick question on what if your piglets were not at this level. What's the formula you should use? Well, for some people, especially when you have the money, you could literally use just this starter alone, especially when your piglets are just being weaned. This would be so great. Imagine giving them just this starter alone. But I would advise, because of diarrhea, which sometimes they tend to have because of the high nutritional level of this feed, you could mix this with maize bran. Like just mixing it, probably just adding some maize bran to it, so that can balance the entire thing. So having this broiler starter alone being fed to your piglet will boost them in ways you'll be you'll be really shocked. It will do really great. They will do really great on just the broiler starter alone. Now after probably like a month, if you decide, for some people you can decide to mix it with just, like, you can mix 1 bag of PKC with 2 bags of broiler starter. That's another alternative, so that instead of feeding them with the broiler starter alone, you can feed them with either 1 bag of maize bran or 1 bag of PKC with 2 bags of the broiler starter. Then after a month or thereabout, you can now start tweaking it. Like at this stage, you can see we were using 2 bags with 1 bag of broiler starter. Now 1 bag of broiler starter is 25 kg. So you know, when you are using 2 bags, that's 100 kg to 25 kg. That's like 1:4 or thereabout. But you see, if you used 2 bags of broiler starter with 1 bag of PKC, that will be like 1:1. That means 50 kg to 50 kg. So when they are a bit when they have achieved a certain growth level, you can start tweaking these things because of finances. But if you have the money, obviously this will really help your guys to grow really great. But because of most time when you're running a big farm and you have a lot of expenses, you still want to achieve your result, and that's why we are giving you this formula you can use to still achieve the desired result. Now the last ingredient we'll be adding here will be introduced right now. If you guessed, you probably guessed right. We are a big fan of the bread waste because of it contains the ideal nutrient to balance up our feed formula. So the bread waste is there about 15 to 20 kg. Last time we weighed a bag, it was, I think, about 11 or 12 kg or thereabout. and we'll be adding about 1.5 bag. The bags, it comes in this 50 kg. It comes with this 50 kg flour bag, and we are adding about 1.5 to this. That will be about 15 to 20 kg thereabout. So the next thing we want to do right now is to mix this properly, and we have to mix it in such a way that all the feed ingredients are present in every mass you are picking. So the mixing is extremely essential when formulating your feeds. You don't want to just mix in a wrong way, because obviously you want every pound of feed to contain both the PKC, the broiler starter, and the bread waste. So we love the bread waste so much because, number one, it's the cheapest ingredient you have right here. We get it very cheaply, and it's very much available, very close to us. And some of you do ask me questions around what are the alternatives to this. Of course, there are lots of alternatives, but you have to be very resourceful. What I always say is that you have to know what is peculiar in your environment. For some people, the bread waste in the environment may be extremely expensive, but right here is very cheap because we have a bakery close by. Some of you may have some factories around, maybe noodles factory, maybe some flour factory, or whatever you have. Make use of the opportunity you have around you. Look for what will work for you. That will be very. This is the cheapest. PKC is the next, and then the broiler starter is the most expensive, and that's why we are adding heat in that quantity, because we are trying to beat costs and also feed them right. So I'll be showing you how to mix this. Stay with me. All right. So one of the things you need to be very successful in your mixing is a very good. You need something like this that can really do the work. It packs it well. So what you want to do is to transfer this. You'll be moving them. You'll move this to this place, then you move it back. That's how you do your mixing essentially. So when you mix this way and move them to this direction first, then we'll be moving them back very much later. These are the nylons that we're getting from the bread waste. We tend to remove them during the whole process of mixing. At the end of our formulation, we're able to come up with about just this quantity of feed, and of course this will be lasting for about let's say 2 weeks, because we do feed our piglets ad libitum in most cases. By that I mean we tend to fill their trough, or ensure rather that feeds are almost never empty in their trough. So just they keep eating. Of course, we do this just for a while, then later on we start to ration properly. We've not started using so much of scaling to feed them. We're just trying to bulk them up at this point. So we feed them consistently.